Okay, this looks a little different. We're doing the oath of office before the Pledge of Allegiance. We're doing the oath of office before the Pledge of Allegiance. This looks a little different. Okay, very good. Thanks. Okay. All right, the time is 6:01 and the April 27th, 2023 regular meeting of the Vernon Hills Board of Park Commissioners is called to order. Secretary Fougeroux, will you please administer the oath of office to Commissioners Robbins and Geraldo?
I can have you both come up, but I'm gonna swear you in individually. If you come to the podium.
I forgot. I was like, what is it? Oh, nice.
We gotta do age, and tenure, Janice.
Yes.
So you're up first, Bruce. Okay. Yeah, if you stand by the podium. And you're just gonna raise your right hand, please. And just repeat after me. I, Bruce Robbins, do solemnly, sincerely and truly declare, and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Park Commissioner of the Vernon Hills Park District to the best of my ability. Congratulations, Commissioner. Say anything, Bruce, or oh. And then we'll bring your lovely bride up.
I'm honored my wife is here with me. So, no, this is this will be my third full term. I started with a 2-year term and now 3 6-year terms. Hopefully I make it through this last term. And it'll be 20 years, and it's just been an honor to work with the employees of the Park District, with Jeff, my fellow commissioners over the years. It's just been an honor, and I've had a lot of fun.
Good. Good. And we're going to get a picture of you both in just a few minutes. So you're up next. Okay. To raise your right hand, Janice. Okay. I, Janice Geraldo,
I, Janice Geraldo,
do solemnly, sincerely and truly declare, and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Park Commissioner of the Vernon Hills Park District to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
Jordy, I mean, it's been a great ride. I'm here because I want to make an impact on my community. Working for, big fortune company, you don't really get the opportunity to feel like you're making an impact. And so that's why I do this, and great to get to work with a great set of colleagues and peers. And so, thank you to the community for the opportunity again. So thank you.
Great.
She's right here.
She's right here.
Wait, let's get a
You want me to
picture.
be super
Well, let's get Sandy and Bruce. That would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, right in front of the podium here. And then we'll get Janice and we'll get you both together.
So cute.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, I told the little men in my life to stay at home.
Bruce, don't go far. I want to get you together. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, come on back in, Bruce. We'll get you and Janice together.
Bruce needs to stick around to do the finances for another season.
Right.
Okay. Good hope. If Commissioner President Durhopper walks in, we'll need to do is we need to
That's right.
kind of put a timeout on the meeting we'll swear him back.
Okay, great. With those present, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have the roll call?
Commissioner Geraldo,
Here.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Here.
Commissioner Robbins,
Here.
Vice President Senti,
Here.
President Dorhofer.
Okay, items under the omnibus vote agenda are considered routine and/or non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. If a separate vote on any one item is desired, it will be pulled from the omnibus vote agenda and voted on separately. Omnibus vote agenda items are minutes of the special board meeting, March 23rd, 2023, minutes of the regular board meeting, March 23, 2023, payables and payroll through April 27th, 2023, in the amount of $1,841 and $85.94. Took a little bit. May I have a motion to approve the omnibus vote agenda?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Vice President Senti.
Yes. Superintendent Mitchell, are there any changes to the financial report on the, on file for the period ending March 31st, 2023? Okay. At this time, the board will hear remarks from the public. Remarks will be limited to 3 minutes and no board response will be given. Are there any remarks to be heard? Seeing none, we're going to move on. At this time, the board welcomes the Turtle Creek Spray Ground project team to the podium. Who's going first?
Thank you guys very much. Come on. You're shy. My name is Heidi Lappin, and I'm with the WT Group as the project manager for this project. It's been an honor and really exciting to work on this one-of-a-kind project. Thank you for choosing us to represent your staff and community on this project. We really have to give the Park District staff and the Board of Commissioners kudos for their creativity and vision in repurposing this area to create a first-class amenity that all of the residents of Vernon Hills are going to enjoy. So thank you again for this opportunity. We wanted to introduce the team tonight. WT Group has done all aspects of the engineering and design work for the project. We have Executive Vice President and one of our civil engineers, Todd Abrams. We have our principal in charge of aquatic engineering, Rich Clark. From Vortex, the splash pad supplier, we have Ryan Eccles. And from Shafkus & Sons, our construction manager, Ken Shafkus. So we're available for any questions, and again, we just look forward to construction.
Wonderful. Does anyone have any questions of the group? I didn't know we were going to quite do it this way, but I do have a question for Ryan. We got in our packet the updated, a new rendering, and I just wanted to know if you could talk a little bit about how it compares to the last time we saw a rendering that was at that budget figure. The one thing I noticed is that there was one of the three tree amenities gone. And I had talked a little bit with Director Foucherou, but if you could just explain what you guys did between when the board saw it last, please.
Absolutely, and thank you for your question, Carol. What was it, a few weeks ago, Jeff? We sat down together and kind of ran through it a final time, discussing the design, the color aspects of the project, while still keeping the budget in mind for what the overall goal was here. So with that being said, we looked at the project from a play value perspective and what is going to offer the most play value, as well as what's going to stay within the desired budget of the project. So with that being said, we looked at taking a few of the options out, and the pine tree in particular. We all felt as if I think there's three pine trees on the actual structure, still kept the integrity of the project, still tied in with you guys' Vernon House logo, and didn't really detract from the overall aesthetics of the project. In lieu of that, we added a few more toddler features and kind of shifted a few things around to kind of tie in the Turtle Creek theming of the project, and making sure that while we put a grand structure together, that we're still keeping in mind a plethora of options for our younger users from 2 to 5. So that was kind of the antithesis of the meeting, and then we kind of came to the agreement that this would be the best design given all that information. This is what we've provided to you guys here today.
So we went from 3 trees to 2, and are the water feature with the tree, is that something that is a little bit more for an older demographic?
That's a tough feature. I say that because it's aesthetically, that is what it is. It's a gorgeous piece with the sea flow that the sun shines through and kind of reflects nicely onto the ground. But when we sit here and the goal is how can we bring in something that kids can interact with?
Okay.
That wasn't,
Yeah.
I thought I told Jeff, that would be probably the first thing I would remove, because it's more or less a stationary piece. While it looks great,
See.
you're not getting kids engaging with it, interacting with it, playing with it, so that's why we removed it.
Okay.
There was one more piece, the garden bug. I can point to it on the screen here, which ties in with kind of the natural nature theme of the project. And the goal in that was, how can we bring in a feature similar in size and the tallness of it, that's gonna kind of still fall in line with the overall scope of the project, as well as like building anticipation, following along with the budget. So those were kind of the decision, what we took into account in making those decisions.
Thank you for explaining that. Sounds like good decisions, very good decisions. Yeah, I appreciate that. I don't know if anyone else saw changes and wanted to ask before we move on.
Just one question, the time frame. You're going to be starting with the middle of August?
That is not my decision. I know Ken could probably answer that better.
Yes, I'll be able to get in there. We want to try and get a start as soon as possible, because we have to get this thing built throughout the winter. Keeping our fingers crossed for a winter just like the one we had. It seems to be the norm nowadays. We don't have those hard frosts. But we want to get as much time as possible. But Jeff had mentioned, James was talking about maybe perhaps extending out the date a little more, because we talked about 2 weeks before Labor Day, shutting this area down. But
We're shutting down August 6th.
okay.
That river and that back half of the facility.
Flux at some point. But,
Front half of the facility will be open till the following week. But you're gonna have that space available to you beginning August 7th, Sunday, August 7th.
And that really works out great, because all the construction traffic is coming on off Aspen Drive through that back gate. We won't have any interaction with the rest of the park. So it's gonna work out perfectly in that sense.
And your estimated completion date?
We've got right now, let's see, what's 2 weeks before Memorial Day is next year?
May 15 roughly.
Yeah, around there's substantial completion. We have allowed another week for punch list, in case there's some punch list items nagging. And I feel, again, with the generous amount of time we have on the front end, we should be able to meet that, no problem.
So this is almost a 9-month project, is that right?
Yeah, not much gets done really between the end of December and about the end of February, mid-March, depending on weather. But our goal is to have all the plumbing in the ground, all the concrete work done beforehand, and then in the spring, the big push is gonna be to put the feature up. We didn't wanna really put any of the feature up before the winter time. Why expose it to another winter? It doesn't gain us anything, and we have more than enough time in the spring to construct the feature. As long as we got the concrete there, it's not too weather department dependent. It can rain, it can still work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So there's no, like, winter conditions that is in your bid number, because you're really not going to do anything?
Part of our scope that we sent out to the contractors was that we outlined the schedule and said you have to include if you need winter conditions. So on the concrete end of it, there's a November 1st, there's always a bump in price in concrete for winter conditions. They've got to account for that. I've got to account for that as well. So yes, we have that covered.
Okay, thank you.
I actually had a question for Mr. Boucheroux. Thinking about the construction date and where the construction traffic is going to be, have we reached out to the school district to advise them that there could be additional traffic and larger vehicles with kids walking, biking, parents dropping off, things like that?
I've spoken with Superintendent Pete Hannigan about our project timeline. School starts August, I think they start the 20th. I'm not sure if, Tom, I think it's around the 20th. So we're going to be staging a couple weeks or, prior to that. Most of the contractors will be on site pretty early in the morning. Like you see most of the Aspen traffic, it's about 8 o'clock. I would expect you'll have your contractors on site. Now, that doesn't mean, a concrete delivery isn't going to come in the peak time, but I think we would have to just notify them. Again, depending on a larger scale truck, the village is not going to want to permit them to drive through Augusta and come in the back way. They're going to want them coming off of 60. Right. But smaller vehicles, if we can bring them through the back end versus a lot of the traffic here, because you have school, Ken, you'll see this, from about 8 a.m. typically, maybe a little earlier, 8 a.m. till about 8:30, 8:35 every day. It's just
Actually, the school times, start times
moving.
changed.
They're
They moved
moving now.
earlier next year.
Starting earlier.
Much earlier.
I'm glad you asked it, because I am going to address that in teach contract.
Yeah.
Because we all do school projects, and we're used to
Sure.
that. Stay away from the school,
Yeah.
and the alternate routes, but I will stress that, and I'll find out. If
Yeah.
Jeff can't give me the information, I'll find out from the school.
Yeah, because in that area, there's 4 different schools,
Yeah.
so a little busy.
And they all start at different times.
Exactly.
It's getting a little better, but yeah.
And to Jeff's point, the guys will show up in their vehicles and stuff, that's no problem, they get there at 6 o'clock, 4 to 6. But deliveries, yeah, semis, delivering stone, concrete, that'll be restricted to after the buses are cleared out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're good? Okay, thank you. So we're good to move on. There's no unfinished business to be heard, so the first item of new business is the Turtle Creek Spray Ground Contract Awards. Contract number 1, we have a motion to award the contract for site demolition, excavation, and utilities to DK Contractors, Inc. of Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin, in the amount of $427,990.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Senti,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo.
Yes.
Okay, contract number 2, may I have a motion to award the contract for aquatic construction to Shafkus Brothers, Inc. of Wheeling, Illinois, in the amount of $744,300.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Vice President Senti.
Yes. Contract number 3, may I have a motion to award the contract for general trades to Shafkus Brothers, Inc. of Wheeling, Illinois, in the amount of $80,800.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Vice President Senti.
Yes. Contract number 4, may I have a motion to award the contract for concrete to Shafkus Brothers, Inc. of Wheeling, Illinois, in the amount of $248,970.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Vice President Senti.
Yes. Contract number 5, may I have a motion to award the contract for electrical work to MK Industries, Inc. of Vernon Hills, Illinois, in the amount of $129,458.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs, Commissioner Geraldo, Vice President Senti.
Yes. Contract number 6, may I have a motion to award the contract for plumbing and mechanical work to Dan's Mechanical, Inc. of Ingleside, Illinois, in the amount of $49,820.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Geraldo.
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Yes.
Vice President Senti.
Yes. And contract number 7, may I have a motion to award the contract for building and canopy structures to Park Recreation of Prospect Heights, Illinois, in the amount of $90,959.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Geraldo.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Vice President Senti.
Yes. Excellent. Next item of new business is the affiliate agreement addendums.
I didn't know if they were gonna stay, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, I wasn't, yeah. You are welcome to. I'm sure you all have busy evenings. It's nice to see everybody here. We're really excited to work on the project with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Have a nice evening. Really excited about what we have. Good job to staff. Thank you. Okay, so we're on to the affiliate agreement addendums. May I have a motion to approve the agreement addendums for the Vernon Hills Community Baseball and Softball and the Vernon Hills Stingers affiliates?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion?
Yeah,
Sure.
I didn't see the addendums in my package. Is that in here or?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to see them?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that, okay. I'm sorry, I do have that. Okay, sorry. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Sorry, did I ask for a motion yet?
Motion in a second.
Motion and a second, right, okay. Can we have a roll call?
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo.
Yes.
Vice President Senti.
Yes. The next item of new business is the district mission and vision statement review. May I have a motion to approve the current Vernon Hills Park District mission and vision statements?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? I have something. I just wanted to mention that I am fine with the statements for now, but I thought that when we move forward this fall with the strategic plan, that might be a good time to revisit this, and wanted to ask what my peers think of that.
Agree.
Is that okay? Okay. So with that, roll call.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs. Commissioner Geraldo.
Yes.
Vice President Senti.
Yes. The next item of new business is the Lakeview hot water heater replacement recommendation. We're getting there. May I have a motion to award Midwest Mechanical of Lombard, Illinois, the contract for replacement of the second hot water heater at Lakeview Fitness and the recommended gas regulator venting replacement to bring this equipment to code in the amount of $124,957.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Geraldo.
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Yes.
Vice President Senti.
Yes. The next item of new business is the Hartman Park OSLAD grant agreement. May I have a motion to direct Executive Director Fugero to proceed with acceptance of the 50% allowance in advancing the start of the project?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Geraldo.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Vice President Senti.
Yes. Really excited that that's a new thing they're doing. That's wonderful. The final item of new business is the 2023 to 2024 Executive Director Work Plan. May I have a motion to approve the 2023-2024 Executive Director Work Plan?
So moved.
Second, Second. Discussion? You have a lot to do. Can I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Vice President Senti?
Yes. At this time, the board will hear staff reports.
Excuse me, Carol, I'm sorry. We approved the bid package, the 7 bid packages. We never approved the consulting fees.
Yes, we did.
We did?
We approved all 3 of the contracts with Vortex, with Shafkus, and WT last June and July. Before.
We approved these 3 in these amounts?
We approved Vortex. You recall, we brought in 3 different vendors that presented different designs to the board. We selected Vortex, and from there was a contract, and there was a not-to-exceed agreement by the board. That was in June of 2022. And so that was that agreement. And then a month later, we got proposals from both Shafkus as the construction manager on the project. We approved his contract, and then we also WT for the engineering and design services. We approved their contract. So all 3 of those were done. I believe I stated that, I might have mentioned that in my report. If I didn't, I apologize, but I thought I mentioned something to that effect of those 3 consultants were done. And that was I gave you a budget, Bruce, with just an outline of those 3. I think you and I had a conversation because you were concerned about the percentage, which I talked to you about.
Correct.
You know, a portion of the Vortex consulting fee, well, their fee for their services included all the features too.
Okay, and these amounts that are on this are not to exceed, and this is what we approved
Correct.
previous? Okay,
Yeah,
great. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to start with Finance and HR Superintendent Jessica Mitchell.
Good evening. The district received $29,000 in property taxes in March, and the district has received 99.7% of the 2021 tax levies to date. As of March 31st, the district has $3,393,964 in cash and investments. $2,959,000 is invested in 21 certificates of deposit with various maturing dates over the next 60 months, and $435,000 is available for cash flow purposes. After the bond series 2023A closing on April 6th, the district invested $1,148,000 in 5 certificates of deposits, all with terms of 12 months each and rates of 5.35%, 5%, 4.95%, 4.9%, and 4.5%. Several other investment opportunities are being explored and planned based on capital project needs and cash flow plans. In March, capital expenditures were $677,000. A credit was received from Paderma for $12,725 for a claim payment. This resulted in a total capital expenditure summary of $664,700 for the month of March. The Series 2023A bond closed as planned on April 6th, as I mentioned earlier. Due to the amount of the tax-exempt bond, the district must follow federal tax requirements. The IRS has an active audit program and regularly audits these tax-exempt bonds. Arbitrage generally refers to investing tax-exempt proceeds in certain taxable investments that provide higher investment yields than the yield paid on a tax-exempt bond. So to avoid penalties relative to arbitrage, the arbitrage rebate exception requires the district to complete a construction spend-down schedule within 2 years of acquiring the bond proceeds. With this information, Jeff, James, and I met to create a capital project plan and now have that in place to meet the 6-month, 12-month, 18-month, and 24-month requirements for the arbitrage rebate exception. So with this, I will track our payments for any potential audit, and the fiscal 24 capital fund will be updated accordingly. I will share with you that bond counsel Chapman and Cutler and our financial advisors from Sphere Financial did make us aware of this and provided guidance as well, so we are suited to handle it correctly. On April 5th, Lake County provided property tax rates and extensions for tax year 2022 to be extended in 2023. The fiscal '24 budget has been updated to reflect the property tax extension updates. A draft of the district's fiscal '24 budget and appropriation ordinance has been displayed here at the Sullivan Center and also can be found on the Planning and Finance page of the district website. If you go to the website and hover over Park District information, click on Planning and Finances, and scroll down to Annual Budget, you will see it there. Also, a legal notice has been placed in the Lake County News Sun and will run on May 1st, notifying the public of the budget and appropriation hearing scheduled for us on May 25th at 6 p.m. in this room. Finally, our IT and Systems Manager, Randy Clark, continues to manage the district's cybersecurity efforts for insurance renewal with Vernon. Vernon most recently had a cybersecurity requirement that included a vulnerability scan, and I'm happy to report that the district passed that this past month. That concludes my report, unless there's any questions.
Any questions? Go ahead.
I have a question regarding the Padorma credit. Was that regarding like the bathroom vandalism or the lawn repair?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Do you remember which one that was for, James?
It was for both.
Oh,
They
okay.
should be coming in shortly. One we just got like last week.
Okay.
Okay, Bruce?
No, Jessica, I was happy to see on these investments for the 12-month CDs, you know, we're going to get about $60,000 of interest income for the next year. But then I'm looking at that we're going to receive $60,000 less in property taxes. Why is that?
Well, every year we put in based on what we have with the, for the levy, but we have to put in a certain amount based on the EAV, sorry, that's what I was looking for. And then the county will send back information on what actually has been accepted and what is correct and what actually are the numbers, and that's considered a cut back that we have to take a look at and update our numbers, because when we're putting them into the budget, it's a basic estimate at that time.
Can we get those numbers sooner? So that when we're doing the budget, we have a more accurate.
I would absolutely love to have it sooner, because honestly, it's going back and, checking everything and changing
Right.
and switching it around. But we're at the mercy of Lake County, and we're receiving it at the same time as all of the other districts within Lake County.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you, Jessica. Next up is Park Superintendent James Kim.
Good evening. I just want to start with some general park announcements. Our park restrooms are open for use, as well as many of our drinking fountains. VHAC is open, and so is the Arbor Theater. That's from the village. Speed limit is 15 miles an hour for any vehicles that are allowed as per our ordinance. I kind of left that generic. We have seen a huge influx of new electric vehicles, most likely gifted during the holiday seasons, and we spotted them in and around our parks. We just ask you to be courteous and share the path. They're not just bikes, they're scooters, they're motorized skateboards, even small little mopeds. We've also had a lot of complaints about music. We ask that people respect our park users, our neighbors, by just keeping your music levels to an acceptable range. We don't want to put signs up, but if there's other people recreating in the same area, we just ask you not to play music on any kind of device. McLeod Aquatics is our vendor for maintaining our bodies of water. They have started their contracted services at pretty much all of our bodies of water. If there's any questions about their services, please feel free to contact the Parks Department. They did do the initial treatment for Little Bear Big Bear Lake to keep it clear as much as possible, and it's made a huge difference on the water clarity. Segue into wildlife activity. Park staff and park patrons have noticed an increase in wildlife activity, not just increase, but also a diversity. We've seen a lot of birds of prey in and around the area, hawks, kites, owls, and two bald eagles that's visiting every once in a while. They've also spotted several wild turkeys, which have been making a comeback. They are allowed to be hunted in Lake County, and there are tags issued by DNR, so it's unusual to see them, but it's not impossible, I'd say. There are coyotes. They do frequent up and down the CV ditch from Hawthorne Melody all the way to Sugar Creek and past there. We just ask that you respect wildlife and keep your distance. Do not turn your back on coyotes. It's probably the biggest advice I can give people. Some of the projects, just approved the Turtle Creek contract, so we'll be contacting them. We're still meeting monthly with our CV Ditch project team. Our OzLab project team, we met with Carissa, and she's going over some preliminary designs and cost estimates for us as an update, just because it's been a while and there's inflation to be accounted for. Asphalt repairs are most likely to commence in June. These are just repairs for our park paths that I have been compiling over my inspections this past month. A majority of them will be at Century Park, and we'll have some signage out when certain parts of the paths will be closed for repairs. I am currently working on a bid package as part of the bond issuance for Century Park Indianwood Drive and Century Park Cricket parking lots. And we're going to put an alternate for Lakeview. We're hoping that comes in at around $300,000. Tree plantings, we're hoping to get some of that done in May. Our main focus will be Century Park and Deer Path, where we removed several dozen trees this past winter and spring. The majority of the trees removed were willow trees. We've just determined them as hazards, the ones that we've ID'd to take down. We've had complaints about branches falling onto people, close to people, gathering around and just falling into the lakes. They're very large and majestic, but I've been telling people we are celebrating our 50th anniversary, so they're at least 50 years old, if not older, and so I think that helps give people a sense of how long they've been around. And then last, some Lakeview construction updates. We're hoping the hot tub will be open soon. Contractor's coming out tomorrow to do their final work, and then we're going to call for inspection from IDPH. The exterior work continues on the new outdoor exercise area. We're hoping that's going to be sometime mid-May. The surfacing is weather dependent on if we can lay it down. And we're in the planning stages for installing landscapes for the new areas to close out our civil docks with SMC, Lake County Stormwater Management. That concludes my report. If there's any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for James? A lot of good things going on. Thank you. Feel better. Okay, I am not going to skip you out of order this time, Tom. Recreation Superintendent Tom Ritter.
Good evening. Couple orders of business here. Our community gardens did open the weekend of April 15th. We've grown over the last few years. We now have 75 garden plots, and they did all sell out with residents. So hopefully everybody was accommodated. We'll have a nice growing season. It's nice to see growth in our adult softball leagues. Adult sports are some of the ones that struggle in the last decade or so. And our adult softball, last year we had one league that had 10 teams. And this year we've branched into 2 leagues again, back to 15 teams. So it's nice to see some growth again for our adult softball leagues. They play on Wednesday and Thursday evenings over at the Vernon Hills Athletic Complex. We had a very, very successful flash sale that took place 2 weeks ago for our Family Aquatic Center season passes. Instead of our typical 10% early season discount, we offered a 20% discount for one day, and we sold 581 passes. So I guess people were happy with that. So I know we are. It's nice to get everybody back for the summer. The season for the Aquatic Center opens on June 3rd, which is a Saturday. We're only 2 days away by the time this is broadcast, but Saturday is our Loop the Lakes, our annual 5K run and walk. Even if it's a little inclement, the weather forecast is kind of borderline. We'll do that event rain or shine unless it's lightning. It's a 9 a.m. start time. People can sign up on site if they would like to. And right afterwards, if the weather holds, we have our free annual family kite fly up at the Island Shelter, also at Century Park. That takes place at 11 a.m. That doesn't require any registration. And if people don't have a kite, they can just show up and buy one on site from our staff. We always have a stash of them available. Hopefully this year will be the first time we can do our craft beer tasting outside. It's been a very successful event for the last several years. Last year we tried it outside for the first time and it rained. So we brought it back to Sullivan. Do the same thing. If there's a weather issue this year, we'll bring it back to Sullivan. But as I've mentioned before, the support from Binny's last year really made the event that much better by having representatives from the different beer companies on site to talk about their product. Really helps for those people that are aficionados and have a lot of questions about the product. And this year we have, as of right now, we have 19 different breweries that are going to be on site, which is a very, very good turnout. That might go up a little bit, but still 19 times 3 or 4 different varieties to sample, you're looking at, 60 to 80 different beers that people can choose from. So really looking forward to that. There will be entertainment, there will be a band on site. And that's from 3 to 7 p.m. on Saturday, May 20th. And our Kids Fishing Day is scheduled for June 3rd. It's a little bit down the road, but thought it'd be a little bit close if I bring it up at our May meeting. So Saturday, June 3rd at Century Park, at the boat dock location, we'll have our Kids Fishing Day. And as I say every year, thank you very much to the Libertyville Fishing Club because they donate their time. They actually really enjoy it. They bring anywhere from 5 to 10 fishermen out. They put the worm on the hook for the kids and teach them about safety techniques and fish identification. It's a very, very nice event. One of my favorites of the year. And registration is currently open for that. I don't have a price. I think it's $5 or $6 a kid. Ribfest, our lineups are already in place for August 18th and 19th. This will be our 12th Little Bear Ribfest. Can't believe it's been 12 of them already, but last year one of the bands that unfortunately rained out, Funky Mojo Daddy, is going to be opening up on Friday night for Kevin Purcell and the Nightburners. Kevin Purcell is a local band that has a very good following. Not necessarily just blues, it's rock and roll too. The songs people are familiar with. Obviously they'll keep a very bluesy theme going, being Blues Fest, Blues Music Festival. So that's our Friday lineup, and then Saturday, Brandon Santini is opening. All 3 of these artists are blues artists. Brandon also happens to be a harmonica player, adds some uniqueness to the lineup. Wayne Baker Brooks is the mid act, and the headliner is Bernard Allison. And again, that is the 18th and 19th of August this year. Just kudos to Julie Friels, who runs our preschool, early childhood dance camps, a lot of our programs. You may recall last year I mentioned she rebranded our dance program. It's one of the programs that took the strongest hits during COVID, and our numbers went down quite a bit. And she rebranded it with the support of Cheryl and Cassidy and the marketing team. And last year at this time, they were getting ready for their dance recital, and there was 43 girls. So that was a little bit of growth after it had really died. Now that 43 is 87, so it worked. So very nice to see that the dance program rebounded, so kudos to Julie. And their dance recital is next Saturday here at the Sullivan Center, May 6th. And finally, both Julie's preschool and Ruth's Little Learners Childcare will be having graduation ceremonies in May for their kids. Preschool graduation is Wednesday, May 17th. And then the following 2 days, they have end-of-year picnics with their classrooms in our parks. And the Little Learners Childcare graduates on June 2nd here at the Sullivan Center on Friday night. And finally, what was I going to add on here? Oh, this came up after my report. In the search for staff, we're always looking for camp staff and pool staff, and this is a more challenging year for a lot of people. We're going to be hosting a job fair here next Wednesday evening, May 3rd at the Sullivan Center from 4:30 to 7. So anybody that has high school, college kids, or even adults, anyone looking for summer work, we're looking for camp counselors, and we're looking for, in volume, what we need most is lifeguards. And we provide the training for anyone that's interested in doing that as well. That's my report. So if there's any questions.
Any questions for Tom? Oh, Director Fusheru.
I just want to, well, first of all, we also have an incentive for the job fair next week too, Tom, if you want to provide that.
Yes.
So
Anyone that attends this fair discusses the jobs with our staff and also then goes on to a laptop and applies for a position. We'll be given a $25 gift card as well for Amazon gift card, just for showing up and applying.
And my other comment is for the craft beer fair, do we have designated drivers, or do you give discounts to designated drivers for participants?
We have a discount for they pay, I think the pricing is $35, $30 or $35, but designated drivers are $15. So yes, they can come and enjoy the event. There's still entertainment and food, snacks, etc. They just will get a wristband for that. So yes, good point. Thank you.
Any questions? No. Thank you very much, Tom.
Welcome.
And next up is Marketing and Communications Manager, Cheryl Buman.
Good evening. Hope you've enjoyed our summer program guide. It is out, it's been delivered, and registration is open to residents and non-residents. So everybody and anybody can register. Tom discussed our flash sale, I'll skip that. We're working on our Family Aquatic Center Summer Fun Guide. If you remember, we've done it the past couple of years. It's like a fold out, so we have all the information, and it will be printed before our season opens at the Family Aquatic Center, and we'll give it to the camp kids and programs, and it'll be available here for people to pick up. Tom just mentioned our craft beer tasting. We have scheduled those front page ad notes that you'll see on newspapers. So we have them going 3 times over the course of the week before and the week of. And we have the alternate location listed just in case we unfortunately would have to move it to the Sullivan Center, so it won't deter people from not purchasing tickets. You know, it's going to go on no matter what. Our little beer brew fest, as Tom also mentioned, we have, sorry, we have, no, we should just stay up here. We have an ad going into there's a Daily Herald Festival guide will be coming out in about a month or so. So our brew fest is in there. District pages, as information becomes more available, we do have like 5 pages make up our brew fest website. So we're starting to add information as Jack gets it. So that should be up probably within the next month or so, so everybody can see what's going on for the whole festival. Tomorrow I'm picking up our meeting room sign. So we have renamed our meeting rooms here. Instead of meeting room A, B, C, I actually have it here. We have the Walnut Room, which will be the community room, the Aspen Room, which is over by the Aspen Dance, and our meetings rooms A and B, which is when you walk in, it's Maple and Willow. So they're kind of a wood sign with wood field. They also have the leaf of that tree on it. So I think they're going to look really nice. So hopefully we'll get them up within the next week or two as our facility maintenance can get it up for us. We're going to begin our outdoor time to put community outreach, little fun programs. Cassie and I do them together. We're going to be doing one in mid-May. We're going to wait to see what the weather is. When we get a little bit closer, we'll choose a date. We always announce it on social media, email, and we'll have some signs out. And we are going to hold it in Central Park. We haven't been there over the past few years. We'll be making a sun catcher. So I'm encouraging people to watch our website and watch social media for the date that we'll be out there with the kids. We're continuing, it's just small, will become our gratitude gifts for our 50th anniversary. So we'll be having out containers of little bubbles on May 4th, because May 5th is National Bubble Blowing Day. So anybody who comes in, they're due May 4th, so they'll have them for May 5th. They can just take bubbles and have fun. So we're trying to do that every month, just a little something. We do it at Lakeview Fitness and also over here at the Sullivan Community Center. And I just try to give little tidbits of what's going up the website. So just to inform you, I'll say we have 10,000 new users. Well, Google Analytics gives so much information. So this month I looked up where are these new users coming from. So this is over the past month. 72% are from an organic search, which is they're just Googling Vernon Hills Park District, and that's how they get to us. 33% are when they're actually typing in our URL, and the remainders are from a referral. Like, for example, we're on the Libertyville Area Moms Network, so they'll have a link to us, and people push on that link, and it brings them to the website. So we're a couple of places. So that's just an idea of where that's not all users, that's just first-time new users, kind of where they're coming from. As far as social media goes, we're still encouraging people to take photos in front of our 50th anniversary banner out in the Sullivan Community Center lobby and submit it to marketing. We do have a raffle. We'll be drawn for a groovy giveaway basket that's up on the counter by our customer service desk. Really, Cassie's doing a great job increasing all the videos she does. So we had 5,449 video views across all platforms in just 1 month, which is an increase of 105% over the previous month. So she's doing a great job. So that is my report for the evening, if anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Cheryl? Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, next up, Executive Director Jeff Fougeroux.
So I wanted to first, I didn't want to interrupt the spray ground, but I wanted to at least share with you all a little extra information that Ryan didn't maybe specifically talk about with
Nope,
you
that's
know,
all right.
my
I think I
back
can
to you.
get it back up.
But this is the area where, what Carol was talking about, where we had this third tree that we took out, okay? These two water cannons, original design, were over in this area.
Okay.
Here, okay, where you see these two little pods. There's like a little, there's a turtle there and a butterfly. Little, those are really interactive for younger kids. Where he had this, I call it, looks like kind of a tall worm. It's about 12 feet high. But prior to that, we had a feature here that just was 15 feet high, and all it did was spin water on it.
Yeah.
And the premise here was, this is the younger kids zone, if you will. And we're talking 2 and 3-year-olds, maybe 4-year-olds. And I felt like when it was basically Cheryl and Cassidy and I sat with them, started to go over just color selections of some of the features. And then we started looking at kind of the site plan with it and went, you know, we need more little kid features. We had this large piece here that was really gonna be taking on a lot of volume of water. And so if you're a little one, you were gonna get soaked sitting here playing with some of these smaller features. So we had to kind of think back and pull that out and relocate a smaller one that works for little kids. So the premise here was, you know, I think all of you, we talked about this at a design point of, if we're gonna be open pre and post season to younger kids, we've gotta have features that are gonna be attractive and encourage them, incentivize them to come to the spray ground. So that's why kind of a lot of things, and we wanted to keep the cost still intact. Like one of those trees is 20 grand.
Okay.
Okay, and so we knew that, okay, we're gonna have some implementation, so a couple of these pods were things that we added for little kids. So this is really gonna be a nice play area. And then as kids see, it's still distant enough from the large elevation piece that's gonna have a lot of interaction that, you know, I'm 5 years old or 6 years old now, I can kind of work to, it's kind of like when you were a kid, like going off the high dive, remember? You always started on a low dive and you finally got enough guts to go up that high dive when you're a little older. And that's, I think, you'll see, you know, people. We kept the canopy in, we put that back in, which was nice. We did have, what you don't see on here is the building structure that's gonna house all of our pumping mechanicals. We kept that in there. It's still, I think, James, it is a cedar wood, right? I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of keep you guys, you know, updated on that. The community survey, we're working with Jared on that, and I hope to have a conversation with him tomorrow to kind of get a better feel with where we're at on some of the questions that are pertinent to some of the data that we desire to obtain. So I'm guessing, and I'm fairly confident that I'll have a draft for the board by early next week, early to mid next week. And you can let me know if you have any input on that. If I get something tomorrow that I can share with you, I will do so. In your packet too was a board member calendar. This is something that Commissioner Sentai and I talked about a few weeks ago, just trying to give you all a perspective on things that are coming up through the end of the year when we have public hearings, right? That we were gonna have on May 9th, and most of you couldn't make that, and so we moved that to just before the May board meeting. In most of our public hearings, you can do like right before the meeting, but what I like is I like to have the ability to have the public have some time. This is a budget, this is approval of our budget and appropriation. And so by doing it the day of our May meeting when we're gonna approve our budget, we wanna be able to give our public enough time. Now, we've had our budget on display for the last several weeks, so it's here at the Sullivan, it's on our website, so the public has had access to it if they have any questions that come before the board at that hearing on our May annual meeting. The district administrative policy, I've given you all, some of you gave me some comments and feedback on that. We're gonna push that off to the May meeting. So I want to clean it up. Some of you have given me some comments, and I'll talk to you all individually about some of those things that you may be asking about. And then some of the things, we'll clean it up. We'll add some things, because there are some things that are dated that we need to update for sure, and then we'll get that before you. This is part of our accreditation, so it's kind of one of those check the box. We want to put it before the board and make sure that you're all good with it, similar to the mission and vision statement. And we'll talk about, we'll address that a little bit more when we do our strategic workshops. But Carol, we can't spend 4 hours talking about a vision.
I don't want to.
Mission statement.
I just don't want to do it at a board meeting over 2 minutes.
Yeah, we'll come in. Board officer elections are next month at our annual meeting, so please just make sure you talk amongst yourself or your peers individually if you have some interest in one of those seats. And we also assign like liaison and just your audit committee. We have a board development committee. We have the Park District Advisory Committee. So we'll make those assignments. We approve our president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and our legal counsel at that meeting as well. The OSLAD grant update with Hartman Park. We've been going back and forth with our grant consultant that we hired with Gaywalt Hamilton, Carissa Smith, and just we got that document, and that's what you voted on tonight. Was this is the first time that the grant that we got, $566,000, that you can check the box if you want to receive 50% of that funding, so roughly $280,000, that they will give you as seed money in advance to start your project. You just have to commit to completing the project within 2 years. We had planned on starting the project next year, so we're fine with that. I'll take your money up front. We need it. I mean, it's just been, a challenge in the past. There's still a lot of other districts that started projects last year and they're still waiting for their reimbursement. So it's not uncommon. So I think that was a great action item by the General Assembly. Got that through recently, and that was really helpful. Also, IAPD was very instrumental on getting that initiative through with the current administration at DNR. The Decennial Committee, again, if you have people, just let us know. We're a month away from having to appoint 2 individuals. We've got a couple of names we're working on internally with staff of people we would recommend, but certainly we're open if any of you have, colleagues that would be interested. It's an 18-month commitment, but it's 3 meetings within that 18 months. So you're talking about attending a meeting maybe once every 6 months, and there's a number of items that they would need to have read: ordinances, statutes, intergovernmental agreements, policies, procedures. There's a litany of items from an operational and organizational standpoint that they're going to be required to at least read, and then we would have those meetings. We would look to schedule those meetings with the Decennial Committee during a regular board meeting. So we would do, instead of a 6 o'clock, we would have formed a committee. The whole board is supposed to be part of this, okay? And myself and Amy as a recording, and we would probably do a 5:30, 5:15, 5:30 meeting with it. It's a public meeting. We discuss 3 or 4 issues maybe during the meeting. Do another one 6 months later. This was a mandate that came through, and we're just abiding by it at this point. Okay? A couple things I wanted to talk about with Lacey's absence tonight. We have a summer education pass that goes into effect beginning on Monday, May 1st. It's for students, and it's like a whole summer, and it's $109. So if anybody, it's a great deal for the whole summer while they're home. On May 13th, we'll be doing a Pilates on the patio, and that's a free class to members. If you're a non-member, there's a fee. I think it's $10. And then we did we just learned we have a flick and float event in the indoor pool on May 5th. That event, I believe, is sold out. The last I heard.
Yep.
Thank you, Tom, for that. last thing I wanted to say to the board and our staff. So yesterday was administrative professionals day. And we all know who the rock star in this organization is from that, and that's Amy Darling.
Oh,
And so I wanted to publicly recognize her, because she does a lot for the board.
Yes.
She does a ton, not just for me, but for a lot of our staff and in the district, and just publicly thank you. And
my pleasure.
And administrative professionals day.
Thank you.
We had a nice dinner, her and I, late afternoon yesterday, Amy and I. We had pizza and Italian beef. One of our favorite SRA CLC participants, Mark Peters. You may see Mark around here. He's just a great young man, and he loves Lou Malnati's pizza, so we had a little event for him yesterday too. And you were amazing. You were amazing.
Thank you.
What you did for him. You really did it for yourself. This is a young man that's extremely developmentally disabled, and the way Amy just cared for him, it's just a sign of her character and what she is and what she does. So, congratulations, Amy. That's all I have. Any questions? I'd be happy.
Thank you. Any questions for Jeff? Oh, thank you very much. And we all want to echo that too. You take care of us all very well and very professionally, and we're lucky. Thank you. There are no commissioner committee reports or communication to be heard tonight, and there is no board correspondence to be heard. So at this time, commissioner comments are welcome. Commissioner Robbins, do you have any comments?
Nothing this evening.
Okay. Commissioner Geraldo?
Nothing on my end. Nope.
Commissioner Jacobs? Well, I just want to congratulate my peers on their winning the election, and so glad that you're back for more. And President Dora Huffer next month, who couldn't be with us. And also thanks to all the local governmental, or congratulations to all the local governmental entities in this community. And I just want to maybe say a special thanks to the village for their assistance with our spray ground. We truly appreciate that, and being in this community, appreciate how much the village and all the entities work together so we can deliver more to the community. That means a lot to us. So we want to, on behalf of all of us, really thank them for that. So that's all I have. And let's see here. Having addressed all items on the agenda, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs? Yes. Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Vice President Senti?
Yes, the time is 7:04 and the regular meeting is now adjourned.